So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Andy Crestodina. I'm the co-founder of a little web design company in Chicago. We're called Orbit Media Studios. And I have the great honor of working with these 38 super smart people on my team. We're a $5 million per year company, and we built that with no outbound, with zero cold calls, with no advertising whatsoever. This is a completely content-based approach to marketing. It is 100% inbound. Everything that we do is based on content, search, social, and email, growing that list, growing those leads through organic traffic. And I'm going to show you how we did it and where we started. This, very humbling, this is my Social Security statement. They used to send these every year. Now it's like once every 10 years. And this shows how much money I made after we started the company 14, 15, 16 years ago. I did well in the 90s. 2000, I made $26,000. That number dropped over the next 2 years until 2002. I made $924. This presentation is about helping you guys make more than $924 per year. That's my goal. If we make more than 900 bucks, it's a success. That's the goal. No, but really, it's every action that I take, starting from way back when to today, that connects these marketing activities to the actual revenue. Or more specifically in marketing, actions that connect it to the actual leads. This is how I do it step by step. I want to connect every dot in that process. Take out all the mystery and have this make perfect sense for all of you so that you know specifically the actual actions you take that will make the same difference for you in your marketing, from $900 to $5 million per year. And it starts with topics. I'm going to start with topics. There's a lot of stuff in here. We're going to go kind of fast. All of this has been written about. We've made videos, and I could share links to posts, and I'll be around for 2 days to answer any questions at all, so we're going to go kind of fast. The first thing that makes a difference is topics, and this may be obvious. It may not be. There is an enormous difference in the quality of content. There's an enormous difference in the performance of content. Good stuff is good and bad stuff is bad, right? Good stuff's amazing, and bad content gets nothing at all. It doesn't get any results whatsoever. The actual difference in the performance of content marketing is huge, and this has been documented and studied. I like to show research whenever possible, and this one was done by BuzzSumo and Moz. And it shows they analyzed 1 million articles and found that scary 75% of content gets 0 links, and 50% of content gets 2 or fewer Facebook interactions. Most of the stuff that we do doesn't work, doesn't get results at all, doesn't get promotional benefits, right? It's not the best content that wins, it's the best promoted content that wins. I give this example. The New York Times does not have a list of the best books. They have a list of the best-selling books. It's the best promoted content that wins. But certain content has an advantage, and this is what the study concluded. If you want to create content that achieves a high level of both links and shares, then you should concentrate on 2 things: opinion-forming authoritative content or well-researched and evidenced content. I'll paraphrase. We should all concentrate on strong opinions and original research. These are the 2 formats for content that get way better results than everything else that you can publish. I'm going to start with research. And this has been a format, this has been a strategy for CMI for years. We've all seen it. We've all been part of these studies, right? I put them into a tool that shows me the traction they get in search. And the articles, the research published by Content Marketing Institute over the years has attracted links from 4,000 websites. Just imagine what that would do to your authority. 4,000 websites linking to them. That's incredible. Those are huge results, right? Why? Because it's original research. Why? Because it's a soundbite. If they own that data, they are the primary source. So powerful. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to produce research. Not very hard. Observation, pick a data set and analyze. Aggregation, someone else gathered the data, right? So you just combine these different reports and analyze. Or survey, do the mass outreach and then do the analysis. So here's examples from my own site, our own experience with the results. Observation. I had a client that asked us, why isn't there a search tool on my website? Isn't that standard? We want a search tool on my website. Like, good question. Our search tool standard? So we picked a data set. Alexa has the top 50 marketing websites. And we had someone go through and look at these from 11 different or 10 different questions. And we published a little piece of research that showed these features are conventions because most sites have them. These features are standards because 80% of websites have them. We published an article saying what is standard on websites and backed it with data. The results, we avoided being in that 75% of articles that get no results. 36 different websites, that says, I think, right? 36 different websites linked to this article. And it ranks like a champion. This article ranks number 2 for website standards above the WC3, the body that sets standards for the internet. Why? Because it was research. Why? Because it was packaged. Why? Because it was promoted. Why? Because it attracted links. So that's an example. And the traffic looks like this. This is traffic for a blog post that is promoted in search, and as it increases in authority and increases in rank over time, it gets more and more traffic. This article's been read thousands of times over the last few months. Someone's probably reading it right now. Aggregation, super powerful. We decided to answer this question: how much money do marketers make? Something tells me that there's an audience for that. I bet people would be interested in this information. How much money does a marketer make? Now, I don't have that data, so to produce this post, and here's the post, we went out to places that had tons of data, giant data sets of tens of thousands of points of data, and analyzed them. There were 2, Glassdoor and PayScale. All we did was calculate the weighted median for that information there, and published what became, not surprising, the most popular open and clicked email in my last year of marketing. People really wanted to know that. How much do marketers make? Wow, that turned out, that worked pretty well. Interesting case study too, right? It got a lot of traffic, but very few public shares. This is like dark social, right? People email. Email's a popular social channel. They say email's the #1 channel for social. This was an example of that. That for sure was true. But finally, the survey. We do a blogger survey, and maybe many of you have taken our blogger survey. Every year we ask 1,000 bloggers 11 questions. And we publish this piece of content that answers the question, how long does it take to write a blog post? We looked around the internet and realized no one had ever answered this question. How long does it take to write a blog post? We learned that the answer was 2.5 hours. That did not exist. That answer did not exist. It wasn't on the internet before that day. We had to ask 1,000 bloggers and average their answers and find out. That got great results. Look at the data. This is Google Search Console showing number of links to our website. That article and the subsequent follow-up survey the year later, 350 different websites have linked to those pieces. You know what that does for your site? We'll talk about it. You know what that does for your authority? What that does for your ranking potential? How much more attention you can get even for the targeted phrases? We'll see it in a second. So ask yourself this question. What do people in our industry often say but rarely support? There's one of these in every industry. It's out there. It's waiting for you to discover it and create it, prove it, make that soundbite. What do people often say? What is often supported or often asserted but rarely supported? That's the missing stat for your industry. If you find and make that missing stat, you will publish one of what will likely be the best piece of content on your website for the year. You will be the primary source for an important piece of information for your industry. It's work. It's actually a lot of work. It takes way more work. Let's be honest, those things, those articles, those research pieces, take us like 10 times as much work as anything else we publish. It's a lot more work. But in the words of Sonia Simone, copy blogger, I'm a huge fan of Sonia, she says, don't take shortcuts. They take too long. The goal is to not be in that giant group of 75% of articles that get no traction. How do you do that? You make something more totally original. Strong opinion, super powerful, strong opinion. Who knows this post? Look familiar? Mark Schaefer's Content Shock post. This is old now, right? It's like maybe 2 years old. It was an article about how there's too much content on the internet, it's not sustainable, content marketing is going to collapse because everyone's publishing too much. I don't really agree with Mark, ask me later, but this piece of strong opinion got ridiculous results. 529 websites linked to that single blog post that Mark published that morning. That thing was shared thousands of times. 4,000 different people shared that one article. He owned the internet for like 2 weeks. All everyone talked about was Mark Schaefer's Content Shock. So we've tried this as well. We've tried strong opinion, and we made an article on our website that took a stand, and it said, these are 15 things you should remove from your website. Your website shouldn't have email links. Your website shouldn't have PDFs. Like, we went deep on these topics and just like stuck our neck out, and good things happen. One of the things we said is you should not have social media icons in the header of your website. I think that's foolish. I think it's bad marketing. Hopefully you don't have this. I'll make the case. The most prominent thing on your homepage should not be an exit sign, so get rid of those big social media icons on the header of your website. That was one of 15 things on this post, and it definitely triggered some emotion. This woman here called me sanctimonious. My goal, yeah, I was not trying to be called sanctimonious. I was trying to just make a strong opinion. Right above it, this other comment says that I brought joy into his young designer's heart. It leads to share. If research leads to links, strong opinion leads to shares. This is what I'm seeing as a correlation. So definitely go out there. Definitely stick your neck out. Take a stand to tell people, what are you for? What are you against? There's opportunity there. And the sharing on this one was big. There was like 3,000 people shared that post. These are the questions. What do you believe that most people would disagree with? Have you published that one? What do you believe will happen in the future that most people think is unlikely? Have you published that one? This one is killer. It takes guts. It takes guts, guys. It's not easy to be great. Try this. What questions are people in your industry afraid to answer? Publish that. Try it. Publish that. See what happens. Not easy, but it's worth it. Bravery, right? This is what Anne would say. Be brave. Be bold. So those are the power topics. Do original research and take a stand. Now we're moving on to number 2. The second dot is the relationships, and it's based on this. We talked about this yesterday in our SEO masterclass. There are 2 kinds of people on the internet. It's the 1% rule. 1% of people on the internet make the internet. We're the content creators. We're the writers. We're the producers. We're the journalists. We're the podcasters. We're the event producers. We're the researchers. And we are the bloggers. We are the blog editors. And knowing who we are, knowing when you come across one of these people, this 1%, is going to be key to making more than $900 a year. Your blog is the best networking tool, and I want you to grow a big audience of people who create content, because these are the people that are going to drive big SEO benefits to you in the long run. Now, there's tools like BuzzSumo that will show you, for any topic, they'll show you all the people who are relevant to that topic. You're simply searching for their Twitter descriptions, right? Their Twitter bios. But if you put that extra word in there, blogger, now you're searching just for people who are in that topic, but also create content. You want these people in your tribe. You want to build a squad of these content creators. And then you want to collaborate with them. You're going to ask them for a contributor quote. If you look at my blog, you'll see I do this all the time. It should almost be like a writing standard, like part of your editorial guidelines. Never publish a piece of content without getting a quote from somebody. Include them in an expert roundup. Go deep on one interviewee. Okay, tale of 2 bloggers. The red blogger over here just publishes content on his own, in his pajamas, in his basement. Blogger B is at Content Marketing World and getting expert advice and huge ideas, and he's inspired to do something amazing, and he builds an audience of content creators in his network. As he goes and creates content, this blue blogger includes other people in his article. Blogger A shares, blogger B shares. Who gets better social traction? Boom. Why? Because an ally in creation is an ally in promotion. If you don't have people in your articles, you are not optimized for social.